Front and Center. Front and Center. A focus on important and significant developments affecting the lives of Filipinos, not only in the Philippines, but also those living and working around the world. Join us in Front and Center. Front and Center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Front and Center, a program that focuses on developments in the Philippines, legislation that provides policies and directions that strives to promote a better economy for the country, issues that concerns the welfare and well-being for every Filipino. All of these and more will be Front and Center. Join me in this program here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You can watch this program on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. That's Radyo Pilipinas World Service. This program, Front and Center, and the programs of Radyo Pilipinas World Service can also be listened on the following shortwave frequencies: 12.010 MHz, 15.640 MHz, and 17.820 MHz. Join us for another edition of Front and Center. I'm your host, Jerome Toledo. In recent months, Filipino seafarers and sea-based workers have faced series of challenges while on board international ships and carriers. Notably was the MV Galaxy Leader, which was attacked by airborne Houthi rebels in the Red Sea in November 2023. The ship was seized by the rebels and its crew were held in Houthi rebels' custody, including 17 Filipino sailors. The tragic one was the MV True Confidence, where 2 Filipino seafarers have lost their lives in the Houthi missile attack. Meanwhile, the Filipino seafarers on board St. Nicholas were briefly held by Iranian authorities and was released. And the recent MSC Aris incident where 4 Filipino sailors have been captured. Fortunately, the Iranian authorities has promised the crew of the MSC Aris to release those crew soon. With this recent development and to avoid putting more Filipino sailors and sea-based workers at risk, the government through Department of Migrant Workers has issued Department Order Number 2 on April 24th, prohibiting the deployment of Filipino seafarers on board passenger and cruise ships set to sail through the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. The move comes after recent amendments to the International Transport Workers Federation and International Bargaining Forum list placing Red Sea and Gulf of Aden as high-risk areas and warlike zones. The Department Order Number 2 also comes from collective discussions during the last month's meeting with the DMW and the Philippine Maritime Industry Tripartite Council. The DMW and MITC agreed to underscore the urgent need for stricter protocols to ensure the safety of Filipino seafarers navigating the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. Meanwhile, on the state visit of Qatar, Amir Sheikh Tamam bin Hamad Al Thani at Malacanang Palace in Manila last April 23, a memorandum of understanding has been signed on mutual recognition of seafarers' certificate to implement the provisions stipulated in the International Convention on Standards of Training, Certification, and Watchkeeping for Seafarers of 1978 and the amendments in which Qatar acceded by Decree Number 14 of 2003. This refers to Circular Number 1450 issued by the Maritime Safety Committee on January 24, 2013 on the mutual recognition of certificates according to Regulation I-10 of the STCW Convention. The MOU agreed between the Philippines Maritime Industry Authority and Qatar's Ministry of Transport shall apply to the certificates of seafarers who served on registered merchant ships of any of the participants and sail under its flag except for those who serve on the ships mentioned in Article 3 of the STCW Convention. And without further ado, we have on our program the Head of Legal Department of Associated Marine Officers and Seamen's Union of the Philippines, or AMUSUP. That's Attorney Emmanuel Partido. Attorney Partido, thank you for joining us and welcome to the program.
Yes, good afternoon, Sir Jerome. Thank you for inviting us here, and we hope we can shed some light on the events that take place regarding these current events happening in uh, in Gulf of Aden,
Mm-hmm.
in the Red Sea.
Yes, yes, and we hope so, Attorney Partido. First things first, Attorney, what's your reaction on the DMW's Department Order Number Two that they've issued that last April 24, prohibiting Filipino seafarers from sailing on the high-risk areas like Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden?
Well, of course, for us, we this really is a welcome development, no? Although this is an offshoot of or pursuant to the previous issuance of the Department of Migrant Workers
Mm-hmm.
Advisory Number 6 of the series of 2024, we are happy because this will ensure the safety and welfare and security of our Filipino seafarers on board. To be in particular, passenger or cruise ships
Mm-hmm.
traversing the route. Previously, there were already issuances on the cargo and commercial vessels issued on this route.
Mm-hmm. All right. For that, Attorney Partido, will the Department of Migrant Workers Department Order Number Two have an effect on existing Filipino seafarers contracts who are already serving in international vessels? If so, how will
Oh,
this affect them?
oh yes, definitely. It has an effect because while the issuance Department Order Number 2 per its letter is I would say concentrates on seafarers to be hired. Nonetheless, it will affect the seafarers already on board since the ban will include them. No, the ships will be banned from traversing the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. While the seafarers on board, uh, uh, while the seafarers are already on board the ship, nonetheless they still have the MW has already issued some
Mm-hmm.
advisories that they shall also be given
Mm-hmm.
the right to deny or refuse to sail in that area. That is by reason or by virtue of previous issuances of the Department of Migrant Workers.
Right. So that means that the sailor, a Filipino sailor, has the right to refuse to board a ship that will be traversing the high risk areas like Red Sea or Gulf of Aden.
Yes, sir. Uh, but this to be exact, no, we this Department Order Number 2 is directed on passenger and cruise ship vessels. The
Mm.
route is a vital route for the European, Mediterranean, and Asian ships. No, it is the route where these ports are ports where crew are redeployed. It's a very vital route. So much so that this is where these passenger ships have crew change and the crew are redeployed. So much so that it is a vital route. And now, with the issuance of this, in collaboration with the ITF, IBF, ICS, International Chamber of Shipping, these passenger ships or cruise ship vessels are now banned from traversing said route.
All right. And also, regarding the Department Order Number Two and the DMW or DMW Secretary Hans Leo Kakdak said that that's only a temporary measure to keep Filipino seafarers away from boarding a ship, particularly international ships or passengers vessels, right?
Yes, sir. But we are we are cognizant of the government's efforts in keeping our Filipino seafarers safe, sound, and secured while on board ships. We are really grateful to Secretary Hans Kakdak for really moving towards this objective, and by collaborating with the international stakeholders and social partners. It is still very fluid, so anything can still happen. And with this issuance, while it may be temporary, but we cannot tell up to when will this be, implemented.
All right.
But we are very happy with it.
All right. And also would like to check with you, Attorney Partido, if the those Filipinos that has been or have been captured by rebels and the Iranian authorities they are one of them or one of your members?
Yes, no. Actually, the latest, which is MSC Aris, uh, has a collective bargaining agreement with us,
Mm-hmm.
and so is actually there are right now
Mm-hmm.
there are about 33 ships
Mm-hmm.
which have been attacked one way or the other
Mm-hmm.
by these houses,
Mm-hmm.
and it is, as you have mentioned, Saint Nicholas,
Yeah.
Aris, and
Yes.
the
The
other vessel,
the True
Galaxy
Confidence.
Leader, wherein they have taken hostages. They have taken hostage
Yeah.
of Filipino seafarers.
Mm-hmm.
It is a very sensitive issue.
Mm-hmm.
We were
Right.
quite fortunate that the last vessel, which is MSC Aris,
Mm-hmm.
we were able to our government, no, our
Mm-hmm.
government, through their unrelenting efforts,
Mm-hmm.
were able to somehow establish, I would say, direct communications with the Iranian government,
Mm-hmm.
and were able to get information that our four Filipino seafarers are in good condition and are being treated fairly, and
Yeah.
hopefully will be released soon. But as to the other vessels, we have yet no information, and
Yeah.
uh, again, it is a sensitive matter as it
Mm-hmm.
is a
Right.
government to government discussion, and
Mm-hmm.
it might not be to the best interest
Mm-hmm.
if maybe somehow information will be
Mm-hmm.
given out.
Mm-hmm.
It might affect the
Mm-hmm.
current discussions or negotiations.
Okay, right. We'll leave that, Attorney Partido. But of course, since you mentioned that there's Filipino or some Filipino seafarers who happens to be your members of your organization, and how Amusup is doing in terms of extending help to our sea-based workers and or who are on high-risk areas and who are also your members, especially those seafarers who are still in the custody of Iran and Houthis. How is Amusub doing?
Oh yeah. Specifically with MSC Aris, we've already communicated with the wives of the seafarers, and we have already given them the advice that our facilities, you know how it is when a loved one is taken captive, and the anxiety, the stress,
Mm-hmm.
the emotional, I would say, difficulty. So we have counseling, both social and psychological, and we have confirmed that with them. We have advised them, and we are in constant communication with the manning agent for making sure. Although we are confident that the manning agent is fulfilling its obligations under the contract and the CBA. With the
Mm-hmm.
other ships that we have, those though not taken captive or hostage,
Mm-hmm.
we have some discussions with their money agents for the payment of their benefits, no? Like the double pay during the transit, in the high risk area or warlike operations area, because they have some benefits, no, which are over and above their contract during their transit in the war risk or high risk area.
All right. Okay. Um, yeah, because the AMOSUP, like you mentioned, gives lots of benefits to your members who are traversing in high risk areas. How would it be right now, since DMW's department order has been cascaded or has been released? What will be the situation of those benefits for this one, Attorney Partido?
Well, it's just a matter, no, because the benefits are already laid out by actually by previous issuances, no, the advisories. Just to be sure, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Advisory issued in 2023 and 2024 regarding the high risk areas, the IBF ITF amendment on high risk areas. These issuances have provided for the benefits, and well, we really have not received complaints, no, for regarding employers violating or not implementing the benefits supposedly received or to be received by seafarers. Most of them are clarifications, so we do some coordination with the manning agents, having seafarers who need clarification or enlightenment.
All right, and at least all queries of those seafarers has been answered by their employers and their manning agencies. Okay. Before we move on to another question, Attorney Partido, recently on the state visit of Qatari Amar Sheikh Tamim bin Ahmad Al Thani in the Philippines, the Philippines and Qatar has signed the Memorandum of Understanding that fast-tracking the employment of Filipino seafarers who will board any Qatari flag vessels, being the largest Union of Filipino Seafarers, which is AMOSUP. How do you see the MOU signed between Philippines and Qatar?
Oh yes, again, this is a very welcome development for us because it now eases, no, it now eases the employment, engagement, or recruitment process of hiring Filipinos on board Qatar flag vessels or maybe even other vessels. The fact that there is now what we call under the MLC port state control officers. No, and this is a recognition of our STCW certificates. In other words, the certificates we issue are STCW compliant.
Right. Okay. And that's let me see, the STCW convention, right? And that's to at least Qatar is recognizing the Filipino seafarers, correct?
Yes, yes, sir. No, of course. But with that recognition, of course, it goes without saying that we are compliant with the requirements of STCW.
Mm-hmm.
That the issuing country or participant have complied with the stringent, mind you, stringent requirements of STCW.
Okay. And that will undergo a series of process for that.
Yes, sir. Actually, there is an application for it, and you have to apply, and comply with their requirements.
Okay. Okay. And by that, Attorney Partido, how will this memorandum of understanding will help our Filipino seafarers?
First is, of course, the issuance of the certificate by the Philippine government. Normally, it is Marina will not undergo stringent, I would say, assessment by Qatari ship owners or Qatari by the Qatari maritime authorities. Secondly, it will now ease the process of, again, what I have said, the employment, processing, the engagement, and the hiring of Filipinos, ocean-going seafarers on board Qatari owned or flagged vessels.
And by that memorandum of understanding, that will lessen the burden of our Filipino seafarers then, right?
Y- Yes, sir. And not only lessen, it would also hasten and it would be more expedient.
Okay. Okay, and that will be, as it said, it will fast track the employment of Filipino seafarers boarding Qatari flag vessels.
Yes, sir. You're
Okay.
correct.
All right. All right. And before we wrap up this edition, Attorney Partido, we would like to get your reaction on this. As we mentioned, mentioned earlier, that DMW Secretary Hans Leo Kakdak, yeah, has been selected by President Marcos Jr. as the new secretary. What are your expectations, and particularly at Amusup now that Secretary Kakdak is leading the Migrant Workers Department?
Well, first and foremost, of course, I can only speak for and in behalf of our president and our general membership.
Mm-mm.
Uh, this is not something personal.
Right. Okay.
You know, the good secretary, Attorney Hans Leo Kakdak, has proven himself to be a performer, a hard worker, and a dedicated worker.
Mm-hmm.
He has proven this through his, I would say, stint during the POA, the OWA, and he's really hands-on, and we are happy that he is there serving the Filipino seafarers, the OFWs, even the land-based, and we can really see how his efforts redound to the benefit of the Filipino OFW. And of course, all of us, I believe, or we believe, all of the stakeholders in the migrant workers sector would wish him well. We
Mm-hmm.
are confident that he can function and perform well, and we are here. We are all here to support him in all his endeavors.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And as we know, Secretary Kakdak is working tirelessly in that department in assisting overseas Filipino workers who are who are in a distress situation, and particularly at this point in the situation in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. He is working round the clock to make sure that our Filipino workers are taken care of.
Yes, sir, I agree. As I've mentioned, when he was in OWA, we have worked with him during the COVID. Oh, he is all around. I mean, he is ever present
Mm-hmm.
in crisis sites. Huh?
Yeah. All right. Okay. And by that, Attorney Partido, do you have any message to our Filipino seafarers around the world who are watching and listening to this broadcast?
Oh, yes. To all our Filipino seafarers, we always pray for your safety, your welfare, and we thank you for keeping world trade moving. You're always there in times of whether it be in crisis, in conflict, or in good times. You deliver the goods to us. And for us in the migrant industry, we are always here for you, and we will support your endeavors. And we wish you all the best. May God bless you every time, all of you. Thank you.
All right. And that And also, we salute our Filipino seafarers who are tirelessly working despite the situation across the globe, particularly in the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden, and recently in Sea of Hormuz in Iran, where their ships has been seized, captured, attacked by some rebels and by some government authorities. We salute them despite that.
And thank you for that, for recognizing our Filipino ocean-going seafarers. Thank you so much for that.
All right. And with that, we thank you, Attorney Partido, or Attorney Emmanuel Partido, the legal officer, head of legal department of AMUSUB. Thank you so much, Attorney Partido, for joining on our program.
Thank you, Sir Jerome, and mabuhay ang Pilipinong mandaragat. Maraming salamat po.
All right. Thank you so much. And that's Attorney Emmanuel Partido, the head of legal department of AMUSUB. And that wraps up another edition of Front and Center here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You can watch this program again over our Facebook page and YouTube channel. That's Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You can watch this program, Front and Center, and the programs of Radyo Pilipinas World Service can also be heard on the following shortwave frequencies: 12.010 MHz, 15.640 MHz, and 17.820 MHz. Together with our producer Erwin Peñano and technical personnel Milo Janela, this is your host Jerome Toledo, and join us again next time in another episode of Front and Center. Mabuhay and love the Philippines.
You have just heard and watched Front and Center. Front and Center. Join us again for another edition here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Front and Center.